Hey guys, Ben here. Hey, so I was asked a really good question by somebody today, and this video is going to be geared or oriented towards newer shooters, or maybe those of you that, you're kind of looking for maybe some tips on carry methods and stuff like that. So I've been concealing for, 6 years now. Carried in a work capacity correctional officer for year and a half when I was required to. So a good question that I got asked was, what do you do if somebody notices that you're printing? Okay, so the first thing that I would say is wear clothing that makes it harder to tell that you have a firearm. Some people dress around the gun, which you can do. I don't advocate that. I just dress normally and then add my gun to my wardrobe, because my gun is a part of my everyday wardrobe. There's very few. I don't wear a larger shirt or anything like that to hide a firearm. That's not what I do. I don't try to do that. I do happen to wear like a pant size larger. That only happened by coincidence because I happened to drop like 20 or 30 pounds and go from like 33 to like 32 or 30. So right now my pants are a little bit bigger, but they actually fit a sidecar holster really well. Okay, so depending on your state, if somebody sees you printing, again, depending on your state, but that could be considered brandishing. What do I do if I'm printing enough that somebody asks, hey, are you carrying a firearm? If it's a place that it's not against state law for me to carry a firearm, which I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but you make the determination where you want to carry and where you don't want to carry. But let's say, it's at like the grocery store or gas station or something like that, right? There's no sign saying that concealed carry is prohibited. Nothing like that. No explicit policies or anything. And in my state, in Nebraska, signs do carry weight of law. And if there's a no carry sign and you do choose to carry and it's not on the list of prohibited places, from my understanding, and again, this is not legal advice, I'm not a lawyer. From my understanding, you have to be asked to leave first and comply. After that, if you don't, then it is a law violation and you can face the repercussions from that. So how do you deal with it? Usually my go-to that I've only ever actually had to do one time in my life, is tell somebody it's a medical device. Usually they think it's an insulin pump or a colostomy bag or something like that. My go-to is usually colostomy bag because most people don't want to look at a bag filled with bodily excrement. And they really don't question it further than that, and they don't ask to see it. Some people will ask to see an insulin pump just to verify. If they're not a doctor, not medical personnel, not emergency services personnel, it's not their right to see. You don't have to disclose that. Okay. But I also dress well enough that I generally don't print. If I do, most people are not situationally aware at all. And typically they cannot tell that you're carrying a firearm, or even if they can, they just don't know because their face is buried in their phone or whatever the fuck they're doing. So usually I don't get that question. And for you new carriers, A, carry with a round in the chamber. B, don't carry a gun with a safety. C, just get used to carrying every day, everywhere. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Determine where you're comfortable carrying. If it violates law, determine where you're comfortable carrying. In the state of Iowa, signs hold no weight. So I'm going to make a determination based off that and the laws in the state of Iowa versus the laws in the state of Nebraska or the laws in the state of Kansas or South Dakota or Colorado or Illinois or Wisconsin or wherever I go commonly. Another thing you could do is apply for a non-resident permit. If you I have an Arizona non-resident permit as well as my state's permit. Personally, I don't believe in permits. I think that they're just another way for the government to make money off your naturally given rights. I think it's a racket. Personal opinion. But for example, Iowa and Kansas and Missouri, and residents of these states, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're constitutional carry states, so you can just carry your gun. So a permit becomes a moot point. And a lot of laws have been expanded or become more vague or less specific with that. A lot of newer carriers are worried about printing. Depending on the gun you carry, you won't have to worry about that. Also, again, most people are not situationally aware enough to tell. But as a concealed carrier, one thing you will notice is anybody else that's carrying. For example, I was in a restaurant one time. I was on a date, and the way I sit with my back to a wall, watching all the windows and doors and all that. I noticed another guy, and one dead giveaway was his gun guy t-shirt. It was like a forward observation group t-shirt. But took me about 10 seconds of looking at him to know he was carrying like a Glock 19 or a P320. I could tell because of the grip and how loose his shirt was, where the crease was on his grip of his handgun. If I'm going for a little bit more concealed, maybe it's a day where, I'm going to be in an area with more people. I'm going to go with my 19 versus my G45 or my XR 920. But, if it's a normal day, usually I'm carrying a full-size handgun, so G45 or XR 920. My general belief is that really only other concealed carriers or people who are professionally trained, so, certain law enforcement, certain military, are really going to be the only ones that know that you carry. Typically, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for normal people who don't carry a gun and who aren't around guns to figure that out. But now also in this day and age, people are scared of guns. They're scared of gun culture. They're scared of firearms. So you do run a risk of, if you're printing, you could be exposed. And if you're in an area where it's legal and everything's legal, me personally, I'm either just going to leave or I'm going to stay there, conduct my business, not worry about it, and go about my day. Because it's legal, I have a permit. If it's not a prohibited area, okay, cool. Most patrol officers are going to show up, ask to see your permit, and then they're going to leave you alone. Or at least most of the officers in my area would do that. Some of them won't even show up if it's a legal area. You're a permit holder. They're just going to verify you have no warrants through your ID. They're not even going to ask to see your permit. Or again, maybe a good 20% of the time, they're going to take their sweet time bebopping on down to the call because they know that they have more important calls to deal with. And be prepared in this day and age. If you're carrying a firearm and you're a concealed carry permit holder or your state's constitutional carry, be prepared to be put on camera. Be prepared to be stopped by patrol officers, because you could be, especially with everything that's going on recently. You never know who's watching. If you're on camera or if somebody sticks their camera phone in your face, conduct yourself professionally, with courtesy, politely, and firmly and fairly. Firmly, fairly, consistently, professionally, and courteously. Usually, if people are going to make a big deal out of it, personally, if it's legal, I'm just going to stay there. They can follow me. They can do what they want. I'm just going to notify them that, hey, it's my constitutional right to carry a firearm. Everything's legal. You're more than welcome to follow me around. You're more than welcome to put me on camera. You're more than welcome to call local law enforcement. I'll wait. I can wait here while they arrive, or you can give them a description and they can do with that description what they see fit. If you leave before, you may get pulled over. I've never heard of that happening. Not to say that it won't happen. But it would be good to have carry insurance for that. I use USCCA. It's only $29 a month. If you're unhappy with your service, they'll refund you. But it may mean that, you're on camera and somebody accused you of doing something you didn't do. But guess what? If everything's squared away, personally, I'd file a lawsuit. That's just me. And you may choose to do something different. But again, typically, I just say that it's a medical device or a colostomy bag, and people don't really go any further than that. Especially if they're not somebody who's doing a pat down or a metal detector search or a wand search. Most people don't continue beyond that. So that's just something that I wanted to put on my channel, maybe for newer shooters, maybe for newer gun owners, newer concealed carriers. You may be an experienced gun owner or something like that, but you may not concealed carry every day. So I just wanted to kind of give an update on that, and just kind of give my take on it, how I react. I've been carrying long enough that it doesn't really bother me anymore. I'm so used to carrying that, it doesn't bother me. And I would say, ask your instructor, if you need to, ask your local sheriff's office. Hey, if this happens, what should I expect? They may be able to guide you. Ask your attorney too. Hey, if this happens, is there some sort of legal ramification that I'm going to experience? And ask, hey, if there is a legal ramification, what is it? How much would it cost me? What do you recommend? Definitely talk to your attorney, because again, I'm not an attorney. Anything I tell you is not legal advice. consult with your attorney, or you can even call the USCCA. They have a hotline. They'll be able to tell you, laws and stuff like that for the state that you're in, or maybe a state that you're going to, and things like that. So that way that, maybe if you, maybe if you're not nearly as informed about a particular state versus another, you can ask them and they will help you out. You can go onto their website and it'll tell you probably 95% of the information that you want to know. Everything from, can you open carry a rifle? Can you open carry a handgun? Things like that. The next video I'm going to do will probably be addressing open carry of rifle or rifles and long guns, and my opinion of that. And kind of what I think of that, along with, maybe how to react and how to deal with law enforcement, because from what I've been told by all of my friends and associates in law enforcement, is there's an extremely high chance you will be contacted by law enforcement. And if you're open carrying, you'll probably be contacted by law enforcement as well. I do have a video on open carry on my channel. Check it out. You can find it in my videos on my channel. Again, guys, it's Ben. Stay safe. Carry your gun with you. Be smart. Have a good day, y'all.